They say that truth is the first casualty of war, but it is also the first casualty of politics. And the way we talk to each other and the way television encourages us to talk to each other obscures the very simple truth that's sometimes right in front of our face. I've talked about this before, the way the left especially loves to put everything in extreme terms. If I said to you, there are male traits and female traits. Men usually have more male traits. Women usually have more female traits. And it's uncomfortable if you're a man with more female traits. That makes it, maybe you get bullied. It's not very comfortable. If I say that to you, everybody, left and right would go, well, yeah, that's true. That is something maybe we could think about a little more. But if I say to you, some women have penises, get used to it. And that means that the guy in Washington has a right to tell you in Arkansas who's going to use the bathroom in your daughter's elementary school. Suddenly you got a fight on your hands, but also you get on TV. That will get you on TV. So this truth is simple. Most of us agree on it. And the way they put it, it's the terms they put it in that makes it almost impossible to understand that simple truth. And the same thing is happening with the corruption that's coming out, the story of corruption that's coming out about the Obama administration. I mean, you talk about how Donald Trump is erasing Obama's legacy. What's his name? I can't remember because his legacy is kind of on the ash heap of history. But there's all this talk about Donald Trump is erasing his legacy, but his legacy is this massive corruption and twisting of our institutions for political reasons. And that story is getting obscured by the political fight. We're in a political fight, right? The political fight is this. Mueller has been appointed, I think wrongly. I said from the very beginning I thought it was wrong, but he's investigating this story about Russian collusion. So as far as I'm concerned, if he finds that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin were on the phone together, and Donald was saying, Vlad, listen, could you do me a favor? Could you knock off this Hillary gun? He said, yes, Donald, I'll do this for you. Yes, I will. If he comes up with that, fine. Anything else? Go away. That's what you were appointed to find out. If that didn't happen, shut the thing down. And it obviously didn't happen. But now we're getting into all these arguments. Was there a spy? And, they sent this professor to get information. And then Trey Gowdy, who has been a really good warrior for the truth, he always seems to be like a really honest guy. He came out and said, no, I've had briefings, these classified briefings, and there was no spy, so Donald Trump is wrong. And that's the headline in the New York Times today. The New York Times, Donald Trump is wrong, there was no spy, because now Paul Ryan said it too. But let's listen to what Paul Ryan actually said about this. Now remember, these guys, the Justice Department has been stonewalling on turning over their documents. They keep getting subpoenaed. They won't hand over the documents, but they gave them a classified briefing. So neither Ryan nor Gowdy have seen the documents that would tell us whether there was spying going on or what happened. But Ryan has this careful thing that he says after meeting with the feds.
I think Chairman Gowdy's initial assessment is accurate. But we have some more digging to do. We're waiting for some more document requests. We have some more documents to review. We still have someone answer questions. It would have been helpful if we got this information earlier. As Chairman Nudis said just the other day, if we got all the information we were looking for, we could wrap this up faster. But I have seen no evidence to the contrary of the initial assessment that Chairman Gowdy has made. But I want to make sure that we run every lead down and make sure we get final answers to these questions.
So the New York Times, a former newspaper, has this, essentially propaganda on its front page that the Republicans are abandoning Donald Trump. The question isn't whether we can call these guys spies or not. That's not the question. The question is, did Obama run a morally compromised Justice Department that overreacted to Trump's election because it was going to be exposed? And I think it is obvious that this is true. I mean, I think that is now obvious. All the superheated rhetoric, which is Donald Trump in a political fight with his political opponents, all of that has nothing to do with it. What has to do with it is that Obama's legacy, it's now clear, is a twisting of at least the Justice Department in such a way that they panicked when somebody else got elected who might expose it. James Comey himself, this is the thing, Almost everything James Comey did, he excused by saying he couldn't trust Loretta Lynch. She was meeting with Bill Clinton, so he had to come out and go public about his investigation. And now we've got the second in command, who later became, for a brief period, the head of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, and he's trying to cut an immunity deal. Or, he says, he's going to have to plead the Fifth Amendment, okay? So this is like we've now got the FBI and the Justice Department holed up in a log cabin in the woods with the police surrounding going, come out now, or we'll never come out, coppers. We're going to kill you. We're going to shoot our way out. You know, it's like we've got the guys who are supposed to uphold the law are looking for an immunity deal so they don't have to plead the Fifth. Here's what's happening. We've got this Inspector General report coming out. And all the Inspector General report is about the Clinton email investigation and how it was run. So it's not going to come out and expose everything about everything. But the stuff that's leaking out really does seem to be, you know, pretty damning. And one thing it has already said, it's already come out, that McCabe lied about, under oath to Congress, about whether he leaked material to the Wall Street Journal. Okay, so now this has been a criminal referral. So McCabe is up to be criminally charged. He could be criminally charged. So what McCabe is saying is, I think it's Chuck Grassley wants to hold a hearing on these on the Clinton investigation. And McCabe is saying, I will testify at this hearing, but you have to give me what's called use immunity, which means nothing I say in this testimony can be used if any criminal charges come up against me for lying to Congress before. And the thing about use immunity is that, you know, once you say these things, any evidence they get, you can say, well, I trace that back to what I said, so you can't use it. So it's really, in effect, it could be real immunity. But anyway, this is what he's asking for. Which just shows you, I mean, it shows you that these guys knew they did wrong. They knew that they were over. And this, remember, you know, McCabe is the guy that Comey said he was a stand-up guy because he stood up during Comey's firing. Comey is apparently also mentioned in the IG report as having acted insubordinately, which is a big charge, by the way. That is a serious business in this law business. So he's the other one who's being charged. So we see an FBI, a Justice Department that had been twisted. It had been twisted for political purposes. And it sounds like this IG report, which keeps getting delayed, sounds like a big old train coming down the track that's going to expose a lot of this. And it just, you know, I think we should all be able to agree. I think the press should be honest and agree that this is bringing out stuff about the Obama administration that they did not have the intellectual curiosity to report on. And that's the simple truth. It's not spy versus spy. It's not Trump said this, but oh, it's this. It's you guys. You guys did not report on what was happening in this administration. Now, that was just what I was talking about in terms of the corruption in the Obama administration that is Obama's legacy. This is his legacy, is what he did to our institutions. That's just the Justice Department. We've also got State and Treasury, okay? When they were trying, and anything to get this Iran deal into place, man, when they were trying to sell the Iran deal to Congress, the Obama administration assured lawmakers that Iran would not have access to the U.S. financial system, all right? Because everybody wants to trade in dollars. Everybody wants to trade with us because we have a relatively honest financial system and a powerful one that everybody accepts our currency. Here are Treasury officials, including the head of the Treasury Department, testifying before Congress, telling Congress that Iran could not access our financial system.
Exceptions, Iran will continue to be denied access to the world's largest market, and we will maintain powerful sanctions targeting Iran's support for terrorist groups.
Iran will be denied access to the world's most important market and unable to deal in the world's most important currency.
That's a compilation from Fox News. The two major Treasury guys basically saying that Iran is locked out, so we don't have to worry about this. Meanwhile, a report by the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations run by Senator Rob Portman revealed that under President Obama, the Treasury Department issued a license in 2016. This has never been disclosed before. They did it behind the scenes that would have allowed Iran to convert money in our banking system. Portman describes it. You have to listen closely. It's a complicated deal, but listen to what he says.
They had $5.8 billion that was in a bank in Oman called the Bank of Muscat. And they wanted to convert that into euros ultimately through dollars. Since they had a dollar-denominated currency, it was better to do it through dollars. And so they asked the Treasury Department if they could get the ability to do that. And sure enough, the Treasury Department granted them a license to do it. Now, what's interesting is they went to the two big U.S. banks that would be the appropriate banks to do this. Both banks said, no, we want nothing to do with this. This is wrong. In other words, the reputational risk and the legal risk was too high. So ultimately, the dollars were not provided to be able to convert that currency. And over time, they converted it to euros, as we understand it, in small amounts in Europe, much less efficiently. But the point is, at that time, the administration was saying, we're not allowing the U.S. financial system to be used. We're not allowing the dollar to be used. We're keeping all of our sanctions in place. Only the secondary sanctions on others are we allowing the Iranians to have access to, when in fact they were granting this license. So it's just wrong.
The amazing thing about this, I mean, the amazing part of the story. So Iran wanted to trade its money. They wanted to trade its money in for American dollars that it could use. And what's amazing is the Obama administration secretly, while lying to Congress about it, said, yeah, go ahead and do that. You can go ahead. We give you a license to do that. The banks looked at this. The banks, right? The most practical people in America looked at this and said, that's wrong. We're not going to do that. So they didn't do it. They didn't do it, but the Obama administration lied about it. I mean, this is, meanwhile, by the way, John Kerry, Secretary of State, was traveling around Europe saying to people, hey, you know, you can trade with Iran. It's okay. He was basically telling them to bust the sanctions. I mean, and this is, remember, to the chief funder of terrorism throughout the world, certainly throughout the region. This is a rogue state that they thought they had this theory, another one of Obama's academic theories, that if they were nice to Iran, they would join the community of nations. Well, baloney. I mean, they've already restarted their nuclear program, showing that it was already underway. I mean, all they're doing is publicizing it. So this is an image of a lawless administration, and we can argue, oh, Trump said spy. Was it really a spy? We can argue when the investigation started. We can argue where the violations were. But the Obama administration clearly acted dishonestly throughout. Its entire upper echelon in all its major departments was corrupt and was acting behind the scenes and lying to us about what they were doing. And the press failed to report it. And it's the fact that they have not made that good. They have not taken responsibility. I mean, now they're saying, oh, we're being really hard on Bill Clinton about his sexual escapades. You know, now when no power is on the line, but with Obama, they still have not looked in the mirror and said for 8 years, we let this happen. We let it happen because he was a black guy. We let it happen because he was a leftist guy. We let it happen because we loved him and we didn't want to tell the truth about him. And now when Trump says fake news, we argue, well, this isn't fake news or that's not fake news, but it's all fake news because they let us down.